Symptoms of SAD. Symptoms of SAD can include a persistent low mood, a loss of pleasure or interest in normal everyday activities, irritability, feelings of despair, guilt, and worthlessness, feeling lethargic, lacking in energy, and sleepy during the day, sleeping for longer than normal and finding it hard to get up in the morning, craving carbohydrates and gaining weight. For some people, these symptoms can be severe and have a significant impact on their day-to-day activities. Yeah, to be honest, I have to say that is really kind of what I've been, what I've been increasingly experiencing over the last, it's kind of in the last couple of weeks, but it's been, as I say, it's been on and off. I've noticed a trend developing that's kind of, I don't necessarily feel all of those, I think. I don't necessarily crave carbs. But yeah, and I'm not really irritability. I think I actually have been experiencing increasingly all those other symptoms. Yeah, like feeling quite low, a loss of pleasure, interest in normal everyday activities. Yeah, lethargy is definitely true as well. And then, so this is all on the NHS website. It's just, their information about SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder, for those of you who don't know. And if you click on read more about the symptoms of SAD, it'll take you to a page which gives you a bit more. And it says, signs that you may be depressed include a persistent low mood. Yeah, we've seen these ones. There's other ones like feelings of despair, guilt, and worthlessness, low self-esteem, tearfulness, feeling stressed or anxious, a reduced sex drive, becoming less sociable. And I think after reading those, I sort of was like, shit, yeah, I've definitely felt those quite a lot, to be honest, if not all of them. Yeah, maybe I don't think I've necessarily been less sociable, but I think I've wanted to be less sociable. Like I feel myself wanting to just withdraw a lot and sort of not engage with people, feeling like feeling kind of worthless in a way, feeling very low self-esteem. I've definitely noticed like my self-esteem is, in some respects, if it's not fallen off a cliff, it's falling off a cliff at the moment. And so I'm just trying to sort of think of ways I can counteract that. And I've been putting off kind of going to a GP. For people who know me, this is not this is every year I tell people I'm going to do this, but I think that I'm just going to have to do that, and because like if not, then I think I don't know. I think I can't really complain. Although I don't think I would ever complain about this. I hope I'm not coming across like that. I think that I'm just noticing that this is the way that I've been feeling for kind of increasingly over the last couple of weeks. As we slide from November into December, and the days reach their kind of shortest. The daylight reaches its shortest kind of length every day. I've definitely felt a lot of those, like preferring to stay asleep than get up. I feel like I'm not lying in, but I'm not staying in bed for very long. I'm usually quite good at getting out of bed, I'm very lucky, but I've definitely noticed I stay in bed a little bit longer than I normally would. Normally I'm kind of get up and then I'm out, pretty quickly. But yeah, recently I've been getting up and kind of just lying there and just like, and this is definitely what I think I've been feeling a lot, this last couple of weeks increasingly, is that I feel very disconnected from my day-to-day activities, and things that I would normally get a lot of joy out of perhaps aren't they're not. I'm feeling them less, they're less of a source of pleasure, of joy, of fulfillment, of connection. And I think, if you go without that for a while, you could notice it, and you sort of think, well, I don't really feel connected to anything that I'm doing in my life. And, this obviously is not ideal. It's far from ideal. I'm very lucky as a person that I'm quite disciplined, and I think I'm quite resilient, although I don't know how to sort of quantify that. But I definitely know that I'm disciplined, and I know, and so for me, it's sort of, I do feel all these things, but, I still make sure that I do exercise. I still make sure that I'm doing my kind of uni work. I still make sure that I'm trying to see people and trying to help people whenever I can, but it becomes quite difficult. And I think definitely in the last few days particularly, I've definitely sort of like felt a real disconnect from any emotions that you would associate with socializing. So kind of like, I've not really wanted it. I've not really wanted to engage with people. Although I think I think I do feel that. I feel that I still feel quite, I still feel a desire to connect with people and to engage with people. But I find that when I do, I don't quite get there. And I was thinking about this, before I started filming, and I think I'm feeling very similar emotions to what I expressed in a previous video, which is called Being Introverted, My Experience. Go and check it out if you haven't. I've recorded that about 6 months ago. And obviously I didn't think that wasn't SAD, because that was in June. I think that was just kind of, burnout, essentially. But it's quite similar to what I'm feeling now. I think it's just triggered by the seasonal change. So I'm not like excessively busy anymore, in a sense. Although I say that I'm in Leeds, up north. I'm in Leeds. I came here this weekend to attend a friend's birthday party, which it was very important to go to that, to come to Leeds for that. And I'm very glad that I've come. But I guess it kind of shoots my point down about I'm not doing a lot. It's like, well, I've been going to Leeds for the weekend, and I'm going back tomorrow, and then on Tuesday I'm going to Woking to see my best friend because it was his birthday this week. And, but other than that, I've been pretty much in the same place for most of the last few weeks, and my life has not been very strenuous. I've not got a colossal amount of uni work, and I've been staying in a lot, and so I think it's pretty evident that this has been triggered by the seasonal change. And again, for people who know me, it's kind of the same old story, really, in a way. And it's, I think every year I have to try and do better, really, with this, and trying to make sure I'm doing everything that I can do to mitigate these negative feelings. Because I think that you can't magically cure it. It's sort of, I think it's the way you are. This is just how I respond to winter most often, and I have done every winter for the last several years that I can recall. It's the same every year. So in a way, I think, I think I will go to a GP, and I want to go to a GP, but it's like, would they be telling me something I essentially already know? It would just be a confirmation. But I think it would be useful still to have that, and to chat to somebody about it and have a medical opinion and medical recognition. But yeah, I wanted to make a video about this because I try and be honest every video about what's going on, and for a lot of the last weekly vlogs that I've done, I've actually felt pretty good, and I've had more or less pretty good weeks, and been quite lucky in that sense. But this week I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to pretend to be something that I'm not feeling. Because I've had videos on this channel where I've expressed a lot of thoughts and feelings that are not they're quite I'm quite confused or upset or unsure, apathetic. And I think that, I think I've said that I want this channel to be quite an open place and not to be one thing or another. It's just going to be honest. It's just going to be whatever I think and feel. And I think that's the nature of a weekly vlog, is that there'll be some weeks where I don't feel so good, and I should still express that, and think, oh, should I not do a vlog because, I'm not feeling it or whatever. I think no, I think I should still speak to you and, encourage you to share your feelings, your experience. I just forgot to say that actually. It's so the date currently when I'm filming is Sunday the 28th of November 2021. I'm in Leeds, so I'm not in my usual setting, which is just at my desk in Southampton. And I'm in an Airbnb room in Leeds, I think actually on or right next to the university campus. And I've been here since yesterday evening. Got the coach up for a friend's birthday due. And I think that I wanted to talk to you because I feel it's important. My last video touched on mental health a bit at the beginning, but I don't think that last Sunday, I don't think I felt lower than normal, or than I had been, but I didn't feel low. I think this week I've definitely felt low for a lot of the week. Particularly, I think yesterday for a lot of the coach journey up, I was quite low. And today I felt quite, I wouldn't say it's been completely low. I think there's been, obviously, I think with me, the person I am, my melancholy is always tinged with hope, with romanticism, with an idea, with an essential, a faith that things will get better. I think the things can get better. And hopefully if I try my best, then they will get better. But it's still, I think, generally speaking, quite sort of quite a low feeling that I felt this week. Quite a heaviness, a lethargy. I kind of my self-esteem's definitely suffered, like beginning to sort of feel things like, do people really like me? Why do people like me? Why do people care about me as much as they seem to? Because in these modes, these moments and these moods, I don't particularly care for myself. In a sense, I sort of think, it's not that I don't care about myself at all, but it's sort of like I'm a bit more self-critical, a bit more disparaging towards myself, and I think feelings of confidence and I'm gonna do this and that, and I'm great, or I'm an attractive person, or whatever. They all kind of go away, and you're just sort of left with like, well, I guess I'm me, and I don't know what that means, and you feel a lot of self-pity. I think that's definitely an emotion I've felt a lot. And I think it's, you can sort of feel quite bad about feeling pity for yourself. I think it's something that, definitely in my experience, I've often, it perpetuates the self-criticism, because you think, I'm feeling a bit of pity for myself, which I think is fair. If you're feeling sad, there's that other aspect of you that looks at that, the you that's beneath or behind everything. Some would say your soul, that higher consciousness that's within all of us, looks at your ego self feeling sad or upset and feels pity towards that, and I think that's fair, because it happens. I think the thing is not to encourage it, not to prolong it, or to try to you don't want to perpetuate it. You want to try and find a solution, rather than being like, oh, look at me, I'm feeling a bit sad. Isn't that a shame? And then just staying there. I don't think it's very useful. you know, because I'm someone who's always very interested in finding solutions to the problems. It's like, okay, I've got a problem, an emotional problem, spiritual problem, whatever. First of all, what is it? And second of all, well, how can I deal with this? What can I do to help solve this problem? You know, that's kind of a very instinctual thing for me to wonder. And with this feeling of seasonal affective disorder, which I'm pretty confident I do have, it certainly feels like it reading those symptoms. You think tick, 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 tick. It's like, yeah, great. You know, so according to that, I think I do have it, you know, and my mood seems to have dropped pretty much out of nowhere. Like nothing really overly sad has happened to me. You know, it's just been just a kind of sudden thing that's just happened over the last couple of weeks, you know. And yeah, so I think, what can I do about it? I think the key thing for me is to maintain, you know, my exercise routines. I think for me, the biggest thing that I've realized is I need to get up earlier in the day, because I was saying, I don't know who I was explaining this to, might be my grandma, but if I'm getting up at 11:30 on any given day, and it gets dark at 3 or half 3, that's pretty much only less than a handful of hours of sunlight that I'm actually getting a day. So most of my time is going to be spent in darkness or asleep. And that's not good. And I can definitely mitigate that. So I'm going to try and, you know, get up progressively earlier and earlier, try and at least get 9 a.m, maybe even 8:30, maybe even 8 o'clock if I'm really keen on this. That's the first port of call. Get up earlier to have more daylight. Because obviously I'm mixed race. I have a slightly darker skin tone, so I think my skin needs more vitamin D than, I don't know, a Caucasian person or whatever, just by my genetics. So I feel the lack of sunlight and warmth, I think, a slight bit more than a Caucasian person, or than I would if I was Caucasian. So that's a very simple thing I can start doing. Get up earlier and get more sunlight. Yeah, so there's that. Continuing my exercise, continuing to go out and see people, although I might need to dial in the kind of commitments to other people and start saying maybe no to some things. You know, but still seeing people, still going out to hang out with people, and even if I'm not necessarily feeling all the emotions that I would expect to feel when I'm with people, you know, it's still about maintaining the practice of being there for people and listening and, you know, sharing yourself and having someone share themselves with you. It's very important to keep these relationships up, because I can't just let all my relationships go away over winter and then try and get them back in the spring, because I would have lost people. So I need to try and make sure that I'm maintaining contact with people. Because even today I had an instinct. I was like, fuck, what if I just let everything go? What if I just give up on all these things? Because I wasn't feeling worthy. I wasn't feeling very kind of, I felt just very, cripplingly low in self-confidence and feeling my own value to be nothing, really. Well, not nothing, but next to nothing, or a lot less than it should be. And a lot less than I experience during the summer, for instance. This summer I was very happy. I had a very happy summer. And I think my attitude was like, well, who wouldn't want to hang out with me? I'm Jonas. I'm fucking cool. Like, I'm a chill, awesome, talented, interesting, funny, compassionate person. And I still think I am. I think technically I am all those things still. Nothing has really changed about me, but the difference now is I don't feel like I'm any of those things. And if anything, I feel the opposites to those now. Or I just don't care about those things. That's definitely a shift I've noticed. And so I need to remember that, no, I still have a lot to offer people, and I think it's a good thing to still try and share whatever attributes and talents that I have with other people, even if I don't feel, that those are valuable anymore, or that I am valuable. Chances are other people might still think that I am, and I think they do. If I'm honest, yeah. People say that they love me, they say that they care about me, and even if I don't feel it for myself, I understand that why they say that, and there is truth there, obviously. And so I've just got to try and not listen to that voice in my head that says, don't believe them. They're just whatever, and trying to disconnect from that, because I feel worthless. And if you feel worthless, I think you just want to think, why people wouldn't want to put up with me? People shouldn't be putting up with me. I need to take myself away and just not be a problem for people, not be a burden for people. Not listen to that voice. Listen to the kind of almost the rational part of your brain that goes, well, okay, I hear what you're saying, that voice, but objectively, yes, we still have all these attributes, and there has to be truth in what these people say, because if you think about it, you can see why they say that, why they would feel that. And you've got to still act as if these things are true. Even if you don't believe that they are, you've got to act as if they were true. I think that's the beginning and end of any sort of faith that you have in anything. It's all about, well, okay, maybe I don't believe this to be true at the moment, but what if it is true? How would I act? And then do that. Because it's easy to act in a certain way if you really believe that that's what you should do. But if you don't feel that you believe that, you've got to ask yourself, well, what if that was true? And then how would I act? And then act like that. That, I think, is essential. And I've just realised it's hit 20 more minutes. I've been talking for quite a while. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I don't want to make these too long. I've noticed that they've been getting progressively longer and longer every week. So I'm going to read you a poem, actually, now, which actually is a poem that I wrote. I'll try and get it up for you. Yeah, this is in my collection of poems that I'm going to be releasing. Well, it's going to get published soon, I think. I'm not sure exactly when. I think they're just going through the final stages of the publication process at the moment. But it's a poem which actually, it's actually a song. It's lyrics to a song of mine that I wrote about 2.5 years ago, and it's called Ithaca. So here is my poem, Ithaca. He sails away into the sun, hoping that he will become a father in those stories told before he falls to growing old. It pains his soul to say goodbye to all those he's left behind. I hope one day he will return. I hope one day he will have learned that all you really need is someone to hold, someone who sees what pain can be. Off they march into the fight, once again towards the light. They long for love, they long for peace, for gods they know to be appeased. They laugh, they cry, their sorrows fly. All the rest, they don't know why. What will it take for them to see? What will it take for them to see that all you really need is someone to hold, someone who sees what pain can be? Years have fallen by as rain and washed away all but disdain. For enemies behind their walls of stone and greed, how will they fall? You cast your eyes into the flame and hope to see her face again. The one you know, she may not be, but in her eyes, it's clear to see that all you really need is someone to hold, someone who sees what pain can be. In the end, it falls upon all those who feel they don't belong to turn to me and make me see, to turn to me and make me see that all I really need is someone to hold, someone who sees the pain in me. Thank you for watching. God bless.